Hi everyone, this is Sue Doyle with OT Lifestyle Solutions, and here we are on a construction site in the Pacific Northwest, and we are looking at a home that has been built with visitability standards in mind and aging in place in mind. So I thought I'd show you some of the key components that relate to visitability. First of all, there's three key components that we need to take into account. The first one is one accessible entrance that has no more than a 1-inch threshold. The second one is wide doors and hallways, 36-inch door and 43-inch hallway. And then the next one is a bathroom on the first level that is accessible. So let's go look at what's happening in this home as it's being built. So here we have the main entrance to the home. As you can see, this is an active construction site, but if you check it out carefully, this has been designed so that there are no stairs. And we're going to go back a little bit so that you can see there is a little bit of a slope on this lot, but it was able to be designed so that it was all one level coming up from the driving in section in front of the garage into the home. And in fact, we're going to go around to the other side. The concrete workers got carried away with providing accessible entryways and practicing their skills, and they actually did the same on the rear entrance out the garage door. And you can see here again, no step, a slope that then comes out onto the path around the back of the or side of the home. So, this was a simple thing that they did on their own that wasn't requested, but again, it's going to make it easier with taking any equipment in and out. Now, as we go back to the front door, being careful not to slip on this wet plastic, and they're getting ready to add stone here. But as we do a close-up to the front door, as you can see, there is just no step or even minimal threshold coming up in through this door. And the other thing, this is not going to be the permanent front door, but in the home you'll find all of the doors have lever handles. Not a piece of visitability that makes it much more accessible. The same with these rocker light switches. They were put in with no additional cost to that. There's the front door that's going to go on. But what I want you to see here is the wide hallways. So we're talking 43-inch wide hallway that comes in from the main door. And every door in the house is 36 inches wide. And all of the hallways are this width as well to allow for accessibility. In the Pacific Northwest, we get a lot of rain, so covered decks are key, but one of the things with transfers for people who are having mobility issues, again, remember this is an active construction site, is being able to have a protected area to do a transfer. This is the garage, and as you can see again, there are no steps into the garage area. And if we go outside here and look, you can see that it's kind of bubbled up. So there's a bubble up of the concrete there, providing no barriers. And then, of course, you've got this protected garage area in which to do a transfer. Take your time. You're out of the weather. It's certainly big enough to even accommodate a lifting area. So trying to incorporate all those structural changes that are really difficult to make afterwards. I think it's very difficult to tell the size of the garage here with all the construction stuff in it, but we'll easily incorporate a wheelchair van or, any other kind of space required for doing transfers in and out in a protected area. So as we go back into the home again, all the switches are done this way. One of the other requirements is to have an accessible bathroom that can be used on the first floor. This is the powder room in this home. Of course, we're still in construction, so we don't have everything in there. And I didn't turn the light on in here. So this bathroom certainly has, you know, a wide door. This is a 3-foot door again. It's going to have a corner sink that is going to allow a wheelchair to go underneath it. And it has enough room there for some forms of transfers, but not really good accessibility for a wheelchair. But other mobility devices, such as a walker, would easily be accommodated into this space. One of the reasons for the corner sink is, of course, the building code rules about things in front of the toilet itself and needing enough space. But this is accessible unless, you know, you're requiring complicated wheelchair transfers, and we'll look at the other features related to that as we move into other rooms of the home. So again, as we come down this wide hallway, the 2 extra bedrooms here that are not the master, we come into what is the hall bathroom. And again, as you can see, plenty of room. This has a 3-foot door again, lots of clearance in front of the counter space, and definitely plenty of room here for a wheelchair transfer onto the toilet that's going to be located in that position. Of course, over here is a tub and shower combo, which if somebody needed to use a tub transfer bench, it's easy to accommodate here. But we're going to look at what our options are in the master bathroom. So let's head out to find the master suite. Take in a little bit of the views in this home. And again, wide hallways, wide access ways. And if we come into the master bath, it's set up with a separate toilet area that is 5 by 5. The size recommended for wheelchair transfers and wheelchair accessibility. It's set up with the toilet offset, so there's room for a transfer to be performed beside a caregiver to assist. It's also got plug-ins at the back of the toilet to allow for a bidet to be installed. So we've already made some of those accommodations in this home as you look at the planning ahead. Again, lots of wide spaces open in this bathroom to allow for other options and for mobility assistance. It hasn't been made for someone with a wheelchair, but those cabinets, one of them is easily able to be adapted and the counter adjusted so that it can wheel underneath of that sink and get that covered. Again, we're talking about wide doorway into the closet, easy access if you're in a wheelchair to shelving and closet space that you can come into and turn around in this space. Plenty of access and width there. As you're looking at this is the master shower. Again, things in here to prepare for aging in place and make it accessible. You have an absolutely zero threshold shower. You can wheel in a linear drain, plenty of room for a caregiver to assist, and there is going to be a handheld shower here on a grab bar, sliding grab bar that will provide for more assistance. And the controls are easily reachable from this side here without the caregiver having to step in and get wet, and to be able to get to them really easily. What I find is a lot of builders want to put them on that far wall, and it really creates difficulties with caregiver turning them on and caregiver getting wet. So some of those little things that can be prepared ahead that don't then require structural changes later on if someone needs more assistance or a roll-in shower chair or some of those options. So as you can see, there are plenty of things that can be done to make a home accessible. Again, we have the same 6-foot sliding doors with a 3-foot width opening so that you can wheel out onto the deck areas to enjoy that. It will need the addition of a threshold ramp there if someone was to go into a wheelchair, but those are minimal changes that don't require lots of structural changes with that. So anyway, give me some thoughts about what you think in terms of building, thinking in advance, of making sure that we're looking at features related to accessibility, visitability, and aging in place. Be interested to hear your thoughts below. One of the other factors that I forgot to mention is the flooring. And so choosing flooring that isn't going to slip or slide, that is not going to resist using a walker or a wheelchair, and providing the correct amount of friction resistance. So in this home, the tiles that are in the bathroom are slip resistant. They have a friction coefficient of 0.63, if I remember correctly. ADA requirements for non-slip are 0.6. The other thing with the other flooring throughout the house, it's all LVP, and again, the LVP chosen has that friction coefficient again and doesn't have the slippery surface. The other point is that it doesn't have glare. It is a matted kind of finish that still looks very nice, but doesn't provide the glare, which is a little hard to see here with these lights. But those are things to also consider when you're making those choices.